Sorry, no. I was very flattered to be asked to be MC this evening. I don't think you really need an MC, but I kind of feel like, you know, it's almost like a lovely gesture for me to be part of this wedding tonight. Which I really appreciate, because I care about these guys a lot. I mean, it's been a real honour to be asked to, you know, even just introduce them. But but the truth is that I would love to be Sarah's best man, but convention means that I'm not. But there are actually 4 better men than me in this room. Not even 1. There's 4 of them. And they're definitely more than 4, mate. Definitely more than 4. Right, okay. Maybe 5. Probably not him though. But the 4 that are better than me, and maybe some others not, are about to make a speech. So can I introduce not the best man, but the best men?
What are they up to? Come on, David.
Hello?
Right, okay. Apparently, we're the barefaced liars. We had a really long and touching and moving speech plan, but ever since Jamie said that, it's been cut a little bit. So we're aware there was some kind of sweepstake going on about the length of our speech. If you had 20, it's now probably about 10. So anyway, we are, quite literally, the best men. I'm James, it's Chris, Sam, down at the end there, we've got Greg. Bring up the rear, we've got Greg. We do realise that we are the one thing, or more accurately, the 4 things that stand between you and this cake and the bar over in the corner. So we're not going to keep you too long, but we do have a very, very important thing to do. We've heard some lovely things in the last 2 speeches about the wedding and the day, and in particular about the groom. And as the best men, we feel that we need to bring an element of truth to the
Yeah, now you might look at the fact there's 4 of us here and immediately assume that there's 4 best men because the groom is so well admired, popular, you know, an amazing guy. So weighty is the responsibility of the subject matter, so inspirational, and it takes 4 people. You might be forgiven for thinking that, but that would be wrong. This is just the this is just the result of poor decision making of Jamie, and we all know that there should only be one best man, and I think we know who that should be.
Okay, is this on? Yeah. So, can you put your hands up if you were on the stag do? There they are. Wonderful people. A more... Am I dead? No?
No.
A more study...
This might be my fault. It might be!
What have I done? Hold it like that, okay. Right, put your hands up if you're on the statue. Hey! A more study, rugged, and impressively camp collection of individuals. You know how it means. So to kick things off, and to get an idea of Jamie as a man, let's get a flavour of that. When we organised the statue, everyone involved provided us with 3 words that they thought summed Jamie up the best. So here's a taster of what they said. If you want to play along, try and match the word with... try and match the word with the stag. Okay, so here we go.
Cheerful.
Ginger.
Lion.
Movie gnome. Poor man's McFly.
Enthusiastic.
Happy ginger wizard.
Geeky.
Comical.
Backward. Backward.
Ginger.
Angel.
Gregarious.
Funny, friendly fanboy.
Canadian.
Ginger.
Popular.
Roguish raconteur.
And finally, ginger.
Excellent word, which I think sums up the people on statue as well as it does Jamie himself. So that's what other people think of him, but we're up here because we think we know him best.
Okay, so what qualifies us 4 gentlemen to tell you all about Jamie? Well, okay, so imagine that the 4 of us were combined as one person, as one individual human being, all our collective experience of our lives with Jamie combined into one life. We'll call this man Sir Gramis, if you will. So, over the course of Sir Gramis' life, he would have known Jamie for a total of 77 years, which would include no fewer than 21 years of school, 6 years of university, 4 years of work, and 12 long years of living with him. As an aside, Sir Gramis would also be 112 years old, 23 feet and 5 inches tall, and weighs slightly less than a Ford Fiesta. Amazing man. What I'm trying to say is, over the past 20 years, there's usually been one of us present to keep an eye on Jamie, or more importantly, keep a note of stupid things he does, in case we ever got asked to do a best man speech.
But hey. So this amassed wealth of knowledge means that we can generally tell instinctively what Jamie is likely to do or is likely to be thinking in every given situation. In fact, I can tell you right now, without even looking at him, he's not really even listening to this. In his head, he's humming the Red Dwarf theme tune. And he's thinking about what his favourite Springsteen song, which is Thunder Road. We thought it'd be remiss not to pass on some of this wisdom we've gleaned over the past 20-odd years to Sarah. So with that in mind, here are some highlights from the troubleshooting guide section of the Genuine Match user guide.
Okay, here we go. Problem. It is after midnight and your match unit is either missing or is located on the floor at the foot of the bed.
Cause. Alcohol. The match unit has poor navigational skills when drunk. This is because of a known fault in his operating system that puts him into sleep mode whenever he's on public transport. Although he will finally return, possibly after an extra 10 miles on his journey or more, he still possibly missed the bed by a couple of inches.
Solution. Stand the match unit vertically on buses and tubes as this overrides the sleep mechanism. When the unit returns home, shout at it until it goes to bed. Otherwise, you may find it asleep in various positions around the flat, probably covered in chicken crumbs.
Problem. The exterior of the MADS unit is glowing red.
Okay. Cause the sun. The MADS unit has very poor sun protection and is prone to burning if exposed to direct sunlight for more than 5 minutes. If your MADS unit has specifically bright red knees, this is because he has been watching tennis outside for several hours, leaving 2 perfectly circular burn marks, rendering him unable to wear shorts to school for the next weeks without getting big laughs.
Solution. The MADS unit is designed primarily for indoor use and should be exposed sparingly to the outside world during the summer months.
Which usually is to make another cup of tea or glass of squash.
Solution. You will need to clean up after the MADS unit or ideally upgrade.
Problem. You are in a Year 8 class and you can't see the whiteboard because the MADS unit has somehow got his flies caught in the overhead projector.
Cause. God only knows.
Solution. This needs the input of a trained education professional. Ideally, a young, attractive female teacher for Belgium who will unhook the MADS unit supplies with a minimum of fuss and embarrassment. Be warned though that your MADS unit may suffer permanent hearing damage from the sound of 31 12-year-olds laughing in its face.
Okay, so that guide contains most of the information Sarah will need to operate the MADS unit, although we have left out some things like dimensions and limitations, although she's probably familiar with these things right now. Does
Okay, alright, so we had a lot of discussion planning this about what our favourite story about MADS was. We just couldn't decide. So we're going off book a little bit here. What we're going to do is we're going to put all our favourite MADS stories in a hat, specifically Paul Mads' top hat. And we're going to pick one at random, and we're going to tell you that story. So, all right, who's first into the hat?
I've got 21st birthday.
Yes.
Talking to the monkey.
Okay.
Lowest ebb.
Pick that one. That's all I'm saying. Pick that one.
Just sensation Jamie Cullum's Wicker Bin.
Personal friend.
He is like lion. Classic match.
Oh no!
And finally, Margaritas / Entering the Matrix.
Okay, brilliant. So I'm sure Jamie is just filled with excitement. Which one of those did you see? So I think we'll go to Liz Mads, Jamie's sister, to pick one. Can you just confirm we've never met before?
Never met, don't know.
Okay.
Classic Madge! Classic Madge!
Would you read out?
Classic Madge!
Lowest end.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to do those here. All right. Okay, so I'll apologise. There's a little bit of sick in this. We'll try not to keep it too graphic.
It was 10 years ago, almost to the day. Picture the scene. Blistering hot summer's day. And Jamie wakes up, having gone out all night with Alex, drinking cheap whiskey and getting plastered. He wakes up 2 hours late for work. and in a part of London that he's never been to, and he said he had no idea where he is. Alex is gone, left. He tries calling him, but his battery's died. All he knows is that he's boiling hot, lost, and very, very unwell. He stumbles into the bathroom, and for one reason or another, I'm sorry to say, he's sick all over the bathroom floor. He then spends 20 minutes clearing it up and probably falls asleep.
This is not his lowest ebb. Awakening some hours later, now very, very late for work, and still feeling terrible, he leaves the house and wanders aimlessly in the heat until he finds the tube station. Descending into the 30-degree plus furnace of the underground, he still feels terrible, but at least now he's heading in the right direction.
Now in the story, we're going to cut to a young woman that we've decided to call Marie. She's most likely on a holiday from France. She wakes up fresh as a daisy in her London hotel room. She excitedly grabs her things and she sets off for a day of sightseeing in the big city. Oh, the things she's going to see.
Jenny, meanwhile, has made it 2 stops down the Bakerloo line without incident. Then the unmistakable signs appear. Increasing body temperature, sweating, panic. He's going to be sick again.
Cut back to Marie. She's walking along the streets, the sights, the smells of London filling her head. She skips round the corner and down into the tube station, passing the turnstiles with ease, and heading towards the platform. Oh, what a day she has planned, as she waits for the train.
Now increasingly desperate for the train to get to the next station, Jamie has stood up and is standing by the door so he can get out as soon as possible. It's going to be close, but with a bit of luck he can make it out of the station without problem. The tube cranks and groans as it pulls into the station. Jamie finds himself level suddenly with Marie and the platform. Their eyes meet. Marie's eyes are filled with enthusiasm and excitement for her day planned in London. She smiles at Jamie.
Impressively, the sick manages to cover almost all of the window between them. Her beautiful face turns from an expression of serenity and happiness to one of abject disgust. Jamie bundles past of her, out onto the platform, muttering sweaty apologies. We don't know what else happened to her on the holiday, but it's probably safe to say this is one of her abiding memories of her trip. Jamie, you're an absolute monster. Out on the platform, he finds a hapless member of staff picking up litter and placing it into a clear plastic bag. Jamie grabs the bag with the line, "I've got to be sick in your bags, mate." And then he's sick in the bag. This is not his lowest ebb.
No, so his lowest ebb occurs 2 minutes later. Up on the street in the shade of Argyle Street, he slumps in the doorway like a sad tramp. Fumbles in his bag for something to wipe his mouth with, wipes his mouth, looks in his hand. It's yesterday's old sock. And that, according to Jamie, is his lowest ebb.
Enough torture. That was the story of Jamie's lowest ebb and how he whilst getting it, probably gave post-traumatic stress to an innocent French girl. I believe actually Alex knew that Jamie had been sick, and even despite his best efforts in the bathroom. Alex, how did you know that?
I found a piece of onion on my toothbrush.
We are not bare-faced liars, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, so that story is just one pathetic moment in Jamie's life. If you'd like to hear the other stories on that list, just find... That's 9 years. It is possible. I started to learn this as I'm trying to watch some football. However, a benefit of living with Jamie, or indeed knowing him, is the number of friends he brings with him. What I've always admired about Jamie is that he is never off. Every time he meets someone new, he treats them as a future potential friend. He will bring that new person into his ever-growing circle of friends. And many of my friends in this room, and indeed up here, I've met through Jamie in that way. After all the joking and all the stories, Jamie is a loyal friend, he's a generous friend, and he's my best friend. And I'm very happy that he's found her.
The first time I clapped eyes on Jamie, I immediately ripped my trousers off. That is a true story. From the early days of uni, at university, where I met Jamie, I'm the kind of young one in the group, I guess, in that way. I realised that he was one of those very rare people that exuded lots and lots of confidence, but he treated everyone around him with the utmost humility, which is quite, there's not many people that generally do that we meet. At university, his karaoke name was the lady's favourite, Jamie Madge.
Yes, it was.
Puzzles. But I think by the end of university, I think everyone realised that he was, one of the most genuine guys, and anyone that knew Jamie knew that he was just a really, really straight-up guy. We ended up working together, and in sort of our early days, Jamie got me my first uni job. He got one. I couldn't get one, so I had to get my mate to get me one. And those days, truly some of the funnest days of my life, going into work. And we always tell people when we're out, and we say, "Oh, we had the best job ever," for a while. When we were working together, but actually I think the job was probably quite rubbish. It was actually, it was more about the kind of the camaraderie and the sort of friendships and the brotherhood almost that kind of sprung up instantly and nicely there between all of us. And in more recent years, Lucy tells me that Jamie has often become my moral compass at times. So for all of those times, thank you. We don't need to know that. I'm really chuffed to be up here with these old school mates, and I'm even more chuffed that you have found a mate to grow old with. So.
Okay. Growing up, I was Jamie's closest friend. And I mean that quite literally, because you live around the corner from me. We were introduced by a mutual friend of ours who had an abnormally large head. And have been friends ever since. We grew up together, sharing the same classes at school, a teenage obsession with Green Day, and attempted to start a band of our own, which culminated in one memorable gig, which is more notable for the fan blowing Jamie's hair around than it was for the dubious quality of the music. When we grew up, we moved to London together and spent 3 years listening to James regale us with the various interesting facts about the Columbo episode we happened to be watching at the time. aside from one fairly hefty argument on a night bus, which I think was about bacon, we were both quite drunk, that ended with me storming off into the night, I don't think we've ever had a serious falling out. And actually, in recent years, we seem to have developed some kind of weird shorthand with each other, which means we don't actually have to talk to each other in full sentences, which is an amazing time saver. I've been really lucky in that I've only had, I think, 2 fairly major terrible pieces of news that I've received in my life. And both times, he was the first person I called, and both times he unhesitatingly dropped everything and made sure I was okay. He is bloody brilliant, and I'm really happy to call him my best mate.
Thank you. Alright, so Jamie, we've been friends for years. We've shared so many experiences, from being 2 dorky Red Dwarf fans in school, being 2 slightly less dorky students at the University of Reading, being the super cool... why does that always get a laugh? We've shared many a movie together. We walked across the country on the coast to coast. We've engaged in countless semi-legendary arguments, which I always win. And I just want to say thank you for being there for me as a friend. In the good times, like doing an amazing job for me as my best man when I married Heather 6 years ago. Or in the bad times, you supported me at my dad's funeral a few years ago. And coming up to Liverpool with a moment's notice, just because Heather said I needed a friend. So I'm so happy you found a perfect match for the amazing Sarah. And I can't wait to see my boy there playing with your kids one day. Sorry, Sarah. So yeah, thanks for being there.
Now, we talked before about poor decision-making skills, but I think everyone in the room can agree that Jamie made the finest decision of his life when he asked the kind, thoughtful, hilarious, and let's be honest, way more attractive Sarah. She's completely brilliant, and we look forward very much to seeing them in their married life together as the house sinks slowly beneath the weight of an unstoppable tide of Lego and Star Wars figures. They say that when you're a child, you're told that one day you're going to grow up and get married and put away childish things. So it's nice to see that they've managed to accomplish one of those things.
Okay, we're you there, everyone. Okay, so the rooms already said thank you to everyone, but we just want to reiterate that. So thanks to everyone for coming and being part of this day. I'm a geographer at heart, so I always like to give a special shout out to the furthest travelled. You can test me with geography later. I'm going to try and do this in reverse order. Carolyn and Peter come from Abu Dhabi. Jess and Mark from New York. Cassandra's come all the way from Canada. Nitpickers among you, I'd assume she hasn't come from Newfoundland there, which would be close to New York. And finally, I think the winners are Kathy and John here, who've come all the way from Perth, Australia. But thanks to everyone for coming along and being part of the day. Thanks to the Stags for being awesome and doing as they were told, and I bet a little more. And thanks, of course, to Jamie's parents, Paul and Joe, who've always made the 4 of us feel like family whenever we've been with them. And thanks to Sarah's presents, Peter and Elizabeth, who we only just met, but have already made us feel like family. Thank you. And thank you to the lovely bridesmaids, Becca, Natalie, Jen, Sarah, of course Lizzie. So yeah, we saw the photos from the Hindu, and in retrospect, I think your idea to dress Sarah up as Princess Leia was better than our idea to dress Princess Leia, but you never know. So just finally, I'll pass to Chris for the toast.
Okay, all that remains for us to do is to say, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the happy couple.
Thanks.